The history of Zoological Society of Pakistan invited any political figure, and we have kept that tradition, and we have therefore requested you to give this opinion. This was a great honor, sir, for you, for all of us to have you here with us. I am also thankful to Dr. Lee, DM Lee, for traveling all that long distance to present her research findings to all of us. And I'm thankful to you for being with us. I'm also thankful to two of my students who are sitting on the dais, Dr. Javed Iqbal Qazi, Professor Dr. Javed Iqbal Qazi, who is the main focal person of this Congress, and he's also the Director, Institute of Zoology in Punjab University. I'm also very proud to present Dr. Abdulaziz Khan, who has been my student since, I saw him in 1963. 1963. And I know him since then. So he's been a great ally and friend, and we have been working together for such a long time. I welcome all of them who are sitting on the dais. I was expecting Professor Dr. Muhammad Aslan Sahab to grace this occasion, but I don't see if he has made it. It would have been a great honor for us if he had been able to come to this function. I'm greatly honored to have two of my teachers, Professor Dr. Fazl Majid Khan and Professor Dr. Anwar Malik Sahab. Sorry. Professor Dr. Anwar Malik and Professor Dr. Fazl Majid Khan. Professor Dr. Anwar Malik was my teacher in FSC when I joined the Alson College in 1956. He was teaching zoology there, and I still remember his beautiful figures he used to draw on blackboard with chalk, and I then carried out that tradition forward throughout my teaching career. Another person who impressed me a lot was Professor Dr. I'm forgetting names these days. It was Asadul Islam, Professor Dr. Asadul Islam. These two teachers, they have made a lot of impression on my mind, and I have been able to carry those impressions forward to the other students. Sir, if you look at the program which will be given to you, you will see that the zoology is a multi-dimensional subject. It has several disciplines, and the Zoological Society of Pakistan caters to all the disciplines of zoology, and therefore you will see diversity of researchers, diversity of speakers in the Congress. And that there's a diversity of students from different universities of Pakistan. As the number of the universities is increasing, the number of zoologists are increasing, and consequently their interests are increasing in different dimensions. One thing which I have noted is that every time a new university is created, they establish a Department of Zoology, which is rightly so. They also start their own societies, which they have right to do it, and they are doing it. And then they start doing, they start working on their conferences. So with the result that now we have so many conferences in a year that it is difficult to follow all of them. And I have now in my mind that I suggest to the Executive Council of Zoological Society of Pakistan to consider holding the Conference of Zoological Society every 2 years instead of every year, because there are too many conferences and it's not possible for the researchers to go to all these conferences. In spite of that, I see a big gathering here, and I'm very grateful to all the participants who have made it to Lahore in spite of certain problems. Um, there are there are these all people, all of them are working in different fields of zoological sciences, but there are some issues which are central to the Pakistani community, which are very important for the Pakistani community and society. For example, the the food security is one of the major problem. Health security is another one. Then there's pollution, environmental contamination, the conservation of species. I'm sure you know that zoologists are working on animals, but only 10% of all the animals which exist on the planet have been discovered so far. They have been described so far. So there's a 90% of diversity which is still unknown, and zoologists have to strive to search all those new life avenues and new life forms, and so they have a lot of um, um plan ahead for the research program. I think in order to tackle these problems which I've just mentioned, like there's environmental degradation is a very important aspect which needs attention, that some interdisciplinary research projects should be taken up, and these projects should be then funded by the local and international organizations. And at the same time, I believe that collaboration should be initiated. The collaboration between different disciplines of zoology should be initiated if it is, because it doesn't exist anymore. Everybody is working in its own domain, but these problems of conservation of species and the tackling the pollution problem and tackling the food security, and which involves pesticides and pests and other aspects, and the health security, which involves diseases and water problem and waterborne diseases and viral diseases and all that. They have to be tackled in a coordinated way in which different types of researchers coordinate to try to solve the problem. Um, if there's some agency or there's a government ministry or there's a government organization, uh, so it is important that zoologists should be considered as a part of the policymakers, because they can contribute a lot. As I just mentioned, they come from different fields, but they can contribute to all these major issues in a right direction, and they can advise the policymakers how to tackle all these problems. I therefore request that the policymakers should consider zoologists as members of these. This is not a new demand which I'm making. I remember the first Zoological Congress was held in Kailasan University in 1980, and Dr. Ahmad was the vice chancellor then, and he made this demand very vociferously at that time that zoologists should be involved in policy making in every type of projects which involve animals, and the government agencies need advice. Zoologists can provide that advice. I don't know if it will ever happen, but we sincerely believe that the zoologists can contribute towards the solution of most of these problems. In this conference, we have delegates from different parts of the world, from different parts of of Pakistan, a few honorable guests from outside. Professor Lee is from China, and there will be 3 or 4 other plenary lectures from USA and China and Britain, which will be made online or they will be played they will be played. These are the recordings which we have received. I welcome all of you. I welcome the young students, particularly because Zoological Society of Pakistan is known for encouraging young students and providing them opportunity to present their work in an international forum. And we have always encouraged it. You will see from the program that most of the lectures are from the young students and young researchers. We will continue to encourage them. And I once again would like to thank you for making this possible to be with us this morning and inaugurating this conference. Thank you very much.